it is not just a piece of dream and a view of Lake Solai and the quiet place. It is also a place where we dream to bring from Israel, where we based from, where we came from, 15 years ago to Kenya. We want to bring the dream of a community between Israeli teenager and Kenyan teenager. So in Israel we have a school that's called Land and Earth, and we want to open here another branch of the school for Kenyan people. So we want that the Kenyan people will come to visit Israel and Israeli will come to visit here. So we will create a community of knowledge, information, and friends between Israel country and Kenya country.
This Israeli developer is building a controversial real estate project in Kenya.
We want people who come to live with us and live our dream together with us.
And people across Kenya are outraged.
Africa is getting recolonized. That's a fact.
Is Kenya losing land to Israel?
Colonial Israel is getting ready to enter the fray.
The developer says he wants Israelis to come to Kenya and create an agricultural community with Kenyans.
We want to bring the dream of a community between Israeli teenager and Kenyan teenager.
How did you identify this land?
I think God brought me here.
But this Kenyan lawyer who wrote about the plan says many in the country feel it dredges up memories of when Kenya was a British colony.
To see new people coming in, buying large tracts of land, reawakens that feeling of dispossession. And then the added drama of it being an Israeli person in the midst of the genocide.
Many Kenyans learned about the 520-acre land development project when the Israeli investor was interviewed on a Kenyan TV show. The show normally features Kenyan stories, but this episode featured his pitch to sell residential and vacation homes on land he says will include a school, a mall, infinity pools, and even zip lines.
These are up for grabs. You can have your home here.
You can have it here. This is a piece of dream.
For many, anger stems from where this project is located. A privately owned dam in this very region collapsed in 2018. The flooding killed dozens and displaced thousands.
For years, they tried to seek compensation from the government, but there was radio silence. The next thing that we hear about Solai is the settlement, 520 acres and a foreigner.
Jahira says the controversy around the plan also brought to light a little-known fact about Kenyan history.
In the past, before settling on Palestinian land, one of the options considered was Uganda and Kenya.
It's true. In 1904, the Zionist Congress sent a commission to explore Kenya as an option for Jewish settlement.
Before the British decided to finally pick Palestine.
Today, Kenya actually has strong ties to Israel. The Kenyan government has been one of Israel's closest partners in Africa for decades. Israel has trained the Kenyan army, and Kenyan authorities have used Israeli security technology to spy on activists.
Israel then becomes the face of oppression for Kenyans. We would probably be one of those countries to provide the avenue, together with Somaliland and their recognition, for Israel to establish more bases here. And so it cannot therefore be said that a land ownership can be innocuous when we juxtapose it with all these other actions that we feel Israel is responsible for in the country.
While it may be true that for some, this project is an attractive land development plan, for others, it's raised complicated political questions and brought painful historic legacies back to the surface.
We don't want to go back to the times when we had to fight for our own land.
This voicemail goes to people of Kenya. Israeli BlackRock bought city called most fertilized city of the Kenya, Nakuru, for a couple of million Kenyan shilling. Now estimated between 100,000 to 500,000 Israeli war criminals are moving into Kenya. Stand united, free city of Nakuru right now, and remove BlackRock out of the Kenya. BlackRock and Standard Bank of South Africa are controlling Kenyan land right now.
Hi you all, welcome back. My name is Kola, and I don't know if you guys have been seeing what has been going on around online, but something about land in Kenya is starting to feel off. Like, I was scrolling and I saw this story about an Israeli guy who bought land in Nakuru, and not small land, it's acres of land, and we are talking hundreds of acres, and apparently he's already farming there. He's planting crops, setting up like a whole agricultural system, but that's not even the part that shocked me. What got me was he openly said he wants to bring other Israelis to come and settle here. And I would want to talk more of this, but let's first watch how people in Kenya are talking about this. And then we're going to come back with our full commentary at the end of the video. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'll gladly appreciate if you guys do so.
Is Kenya losing land to Israel?
What?
Let's talk about this guy. His name is Erez Revkin, and he allegedly owns 520 acres of land in Solai, Nakuru County. So he has spent 15 years building greenhouses, solar panels, park houses, and boreholes, and now a master planned residential retreat where he has invited buyers to purchase a plot and plug into his farming value chain for income. Bado akona plans za kubuild an infinity pool, I don't know what that means, a zip line, a restaurant, and an open mall that is 70% done, and an agricultural international school. Looks like a beautiful project, and I'm sure the community is proud of the progress. But there is a problem being raised. Under the Kenyan constitution, a foreigner cannot own freehold land and can only lease land for up to 99 years. As Alex Chamoda showed the progress, Wakenya waliona two land, and it's normal because our generation and the older generations grew up knowing the most important thing is what? Land. Na pia, Solai, the area that the Israel guy has invested in, has been in the limelight not so long ago. On 9th May 2018, a dam owned by another foreigner by the name Mansukul Patel burst, killing at least 48 people. The Water Resources Management Authority came out ikasema that the dams on the property were not properly licensed and were illegal. So it's not an illegitimate concern that Kenyans are raising about the land owned by Revkin. Na hii kiendelea, county government ya Nakuru imepartner na Israel to bring an establishment of a Nakuru Israel Agri-Tech demonstration and training farm that would serve as a learning hub for local farmers and professional exchange programs that would provide opportunities for Nakuru experts to train in Israel. But anyway, back to Revkin. His operation appears genuinely productive. He has used local materials in building, he has employed many locals, but Kenyans cannot forget what happened the last time foreigners possessed their land. The National Land Commission, according to Kenya Insights, has not addressed whether a non-citizen can legally be the ultimate beneficiary of a freehold residential development. So, should Kenyans be worried? Honestly, I think the concern is valid, but we also cannot ignore the jobs and investment. The real question is the law being followed? And until the National Land Commission gives us an answer, the tension won't go away. You can share this video widely for people to understand.
So the Israelis know that their time is coming to an end, so guess what they're doing? They're buying big-ass farmlands in fucking Kenya and trying to recolonize Kenya. And guess what? The Kenyans aren't here for it, and they've been talking about it. If you don't see it on the news, I just told you.
This is for entertainment purposes only. So Kenyans are losing their marbles, family, after it emerged. Well, a local digital news network published a story saying that Israel was planning to build a state of Israel right here in Kenya, and that they've been actually planning this for the last 100 years. And guys started tripping out. And I think it's connected to this interview that happened a couple of days ago on this popular Kenyan guy's YouTube channel. Something Abroad. I can't remember. Something Abroad is the name of his channel. And he interviewed this Israeli who talked about how they had bought a lot of land next to Solai, whatever, lake and stuff like that. And how they were building these massive like agricultural whatevers. And he said like he would want, Israeli children to come visit Kenya and Kenyan children to go visit Israel. And so now Kenyans started to trip, and they were like, yo, the Israelis are planning to build some kind of settlement in northern Kenya. And guys, this story is starting to catch fire now. But I don't know. Because, in 1903, there was that whole where they wanted to annex Uganda, but they were also going to annex a bit of Kenya and make it the state of Israel. And, there's a special place in Uganda where the Vatican has actually put walls and it's guarded more than Fort Knox. And there's all kinds of crazy security because they say something is there. An energy is there. Some say the real holy book, whatever, the ark, one of the arks, because there were 4 arks, stories for other days. But what do you think, family? Guys are tripping. And I always say where there's smoke, there's fire. And since these guys control, allegedly, the news channels, what if they're just testing the waters? Because I've always told you who Kenya is. I've always told you that we are the real Nene. What if we are? And this has been a plan 100 years plus in the making. Anyway, these are interesting times. But the spirit that is going to create a revival across the world from Kenya is already here. And the chosen ones are already tapping into it. If you know, you know.
Kenyans are concerned. In 2018, a dam collapsed in a place called Solai, displacing the people who originally lived there. 7 years later, this land has been bought aggressively by guess who? The answer is Israeli citizens. Kenyans have observed this pattern of aggressive land buying in other countries, and they are concerned that their country might be next in the chopping block. So, do you think this incident should concern Kenyans? Let me know your answer in the comments.
Hey, so I uploaded a video last year, about last year, where I detailed all the African countries that were planning on selling land to foreign entities so that they can build satellite tech cities. I listed all the countries and the acreage of land that they were going to get. Nigeria is one of them. Kenya is one of them. I listed it. I made that video. It didn't go viral, but it got like 50,000 to 100,000 views total, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm saying this because people keep sending me videos and reels and news stories about Israelis buying 5,000 acres in Nakuru city in Kenya, and I'm like, but I already uploaded a video 2 months ago talking about, hey, look at what they're planning. They plan on buying cities in every country. They're planning on building and installing themselves in there, and from there they're going to be a hub of power. I said it. They're building basically what is the name of this fucking town in South Africa that is for whites only? That's what they're building. I made a video about it. I don't know no one said anything, no one did anything, y'all just sat down on your asses, continued watching my videos in the comments talking about, oh yeah, Africa is doomed, white man cannot do it, Jesus will save us. I don't know what the fuck y'all want. I made a video about this a couple months ago, and now that it's been announced that Israelis have bought land in Kenya, why you send, I made a video about it. The Kenyans did nothing. I don't know what you want me to do.
And Nairobi is another target in the Israel-Iran war, the American war that is going on at the moment in the Middle East. And when I say that Nairobi is another target, I mean it. Because history can shift in a single night. You remember World War I, a small war that started in Austria. You know what happened? Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has been eliminated. And Iran has promised a punishing and heavy response. And when Iran says death to America, it doesn't mean that they are targeting Washington, D.C., or Minneapolis, or Chicago, or Texas. No. They mean U.S. military bases. They mean embassies. They mean strategic installations across the globe. And in Africa, that includes the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi. It includes the U.S. military facility at Manda Bay in Lamu County. Mnataka kuniambia hamjaona what was happening across the Gulf nations. Talk of Bahrain, UAE, Saudi Arabia. Missiles raining all over. This is Abu Dhabi. And the message is very clear. This conflict is not, regional. It is a global one. And there's another signal showing beyond the battlefield. To our Kenyan brothers and sisters who are in the Middle East, stay safe. May God protect you. Anyway, stay alert. The story is still unfolding.
And now he's planning to settle and create a community and in Kenya as well. And I'm just here like, are we paying attention to what's happening in our land? Because it's not just that one case. People have been talking about foreigners quietly buying large chunks of land across Kenya. Even the situation with Kelsey, I don't know if you guys remember, people were talking about how she bought land that had wild animals in it, and it was like a mini reserve. And we are like, how does private ownership even extend to that level? Are we selling ecosystems now? And then there are rumors, I don't know if they've been confirmed, but even Dubai investors are also looking into buying land in Kenya. Like, who do we really have to really support our land and fight for our land? And at first it sounds like investment, development, but let's be real for a second. Who actually benefits with this? Because most Kenyans right now are struggling to even own land in their own country. Land prices have been crazy, and then you hear foreigners are buying huge acres of land all at once. It just doesn't sit right. How do they get that access? And honestly, this is why people are connecting it to past things, like what happened to the Salai Dam. That tragedy, people lost their lives. Families were displaced, and to this day many feel like justice wasn't fully served till now. So now when people see land issues again and foreigners buying land again, especially involving powerful and foreign ownership, it brings back that same fear people went through, that trauma people went through. Like, are ordinary Kenyans really protected? Even with our own government, are we really safe? And let's talk about the cons people, also Kenyans, are going and are worried about. And first, it's displacement. If more land is bought, where do locals go? They are chased away from that land, right? And second of all, the loss of control. If foreigners own large areas in Kenya, they basically decide what happens there. They create their own living there. They bring their own people there. And thirdly, it's about cultural impact. You bring in completely new communities, settling in large numbers. That also is the Israelis coming to occupy the land, and it changes everything. And the most and the biggest one is economic inequality, because locals are selling their land cheap out of need, and the land is no longer in Kenyan hands. It's now in foreigners' hands. And hear me out, you all. I'm not saying foreigners shouldn't invest. That's not the point at all. Investment is so good. Growth is even better, but there has to be a balance, right? But because right now it feels like we might wake up one day and realize we slowly sold pieces of our country without even noticing. And that's a scary thought. But I want to hear from you all how you feel about foreigners occupying our land, and how the locals also feel this is impacting them. And please drop your comments. And finally, credit goes to all the respective owners of the clips and content used in my video. The thoughts and perspective made today's work possible, guys. And if you loved today's video and you would want to see more of this, ensure you leave a like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell for future updates. See you in the next one.